Hey, what's up, guys? This is BLUJAYARTE, and you guys are watching Blasted.
Yeah, man. Play me some of that chronic shit.
Yeah, I'm from Orange County, California, pretty much like Anaheim area. I was like not born there. I was born in Mexico, but I pretty much was raised my whole life in Orange County.
Where in Mexico were you born?
I was born in a place called Cuernavaca, Morelos. It's southern, like south of Mexico City, next to like Guerrero.
How old were you when your parents came to the U.S.?
Think my dad came first, and I was probably like a year old or something, and then me and my mom came over when I was 3 years old, and pretty much I never went back since, and we've just been thugging it out.
So straight from Mexico, they came to Orange County?
Yeah. Some of my family was already in Orange County, so you know how that is. They linked up and stayed there. Some people that originally we linked up with, some of my tios and shit, they moved to out of state or like out of the county. They moved to IE and stuff like that to like get a bigger pad and shit like that. But yeah, me and my parents stayed here in OC in pretty much like Anaheim area.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Buena Park High School.
What type of student were you?
I was a kind of like a troublemaker, I guess you could say. Always doing travesuras and shit, you know. Always not paying attention, I guess, in class. Like my priorities were for sure all fucked up back then. I would just draw all day. Ever since elementary school, I would just draw in class and just get lost on paper, pretty much. That or lost in the cheese man, or lost, you know, you're a guy trying to hit on chicks and shit. Like,
So you really didn't have a focus when it came to schoolwork?
not really. And the only things I was kind of good at or interested was like something you wouldn't even think, or I wouldn't even think would be good at, was like random stuff like science or like maybe history or English. But like math, I was always interested or wanted to be good at it, but I was never good at it.
So you mentioned that you were drawing.
Yeah, I would draw all the time. Pretty much, I would never do like my schoolwork. And I'm not saying this to promote it or anything. I'm super against that, but it's just what it is. It's the truth. I wouldn't do shit in class. I would get in trouble just for drawing. Teachers would confiscate the drawings, and yeah, pretty much like that. And then even at home too, I feel like it was like a confusing time growing up, cause like being an artist wasn't like accepted, and almost like in the Mexican household I was raised in, it was super fantasy land type of shit. Like they're like, oh yeah, like you're not gonna make no money off that, or think realistic, like think about I don't know, owning a business or being some kind of manager or something. I feel like back then in the old school era or whatever, like I feel like managers and other kind of blue collar, white collar jobs were very like glorified, kind of almost like you were a badass. And now we're kind of like in a different era where like a lot of people now glorify self-employed people, kind of like tattoo artists and like nail techs and all that. So yeah, it's a different generation we're living in for sure.
In high school, you didn't have an interest in school. You were focusing a lot on drawing. When did your interest in drawing start?
I've always respected teachers. I think teachers are cool as fuck, and a lot of my teachers that I looked up to or I was cool with thought I was a pretty decent artist and would tell me to pursue that I should pursue it or whatever. That's what their recommendation was. but I was always like, nah. Like in the back of my head, I was always like, nah. Like my parents wouldn't like that, or mostly like my dad. I was always like tripping on my dad. Like be like, nah. Like they'd kill me, or like not kill me, but like like they'd be like not really happy if I try to chase that artist's dream or life or whatever. So I was always like, nah. Like I'll probably not do that. But growing up, I was always just pretty much being an artist in any kind of way. I just wasn't realizing it. I just would do it and express it or whatever, or just release whatever I had in me through any kinds of art. But yeah, sooner or later, all that creativeness and creating shit. Sooner or later, I realized like, yeah, I guess I probably am like meant to be an artist or something like that. Yeah.
You're also a graffiti artist, right?
Yeah. That's kind of where it all starts too. Like in OC, it's like a big skate. At least when I grew up, everybody skated. It was a huge skating scene. Skating, kind of like gang banging, kind of rock and roll shit. Kind of like everywhere. All of Southern California is like that for sure. But that's skating was big. Tagging was big. When you grow up, at least back then when I grew up, usually kick it with like your neighbors or people from your school that are probably live close enough that you could walk to or whatever. And yeah, one of my neighbors, one of the close homies, that fool would tagged, and a lot of my best friends, they tagged. That's pretty much what we all had in common. We skated and tagged. And that was our escape, pretty much. Yeah.
Was graffiti a focus for you?
Yes, at the time, in like around high school or my early teens, becoming an adult, for sure, graffiti was a huge focus. It was pretty much prioritized for me. That was my main priority, kind of. I fucked with graffiti heavy, and in the very beginning, before I even thought of even becoming a tattoo artist or taking that thought serious, what I always really wanted to be is like a art teacher, or I wanted to be like a famous artist in fine art, but with like a mixture of graffiti probably. Yeah, I never really took that far anyways either, but that was always I was like, damn, that'd be cool. I seen I just grew up looking up to certain people, which I'm pretty sure a lot of other people grew up looking up to them as well, that are like in my generation, which is like, for me, I grew up looking up to an artist named Saber from MSK. And then a lot of people grow up looking up to like Norm, Triggs, all those heavy hitters. They're all like affiliated, like, with Graph and the tat scene too, but I never took the tat scene part serious or like acknowledged that too much until later on. I feel like the tat scene just got bigger, where it kind of started like slapping me in the face, like, hey, the tat scene is here. Like, the tat scene's here, like, jump in that shit or something. Yeah, so I was doing graffiti, and because I was doing graffiti, I got caught. And then that led to court and all that. It pretty much led to me being on probation. It was formal probation, which is like the worst probation you could pretty much get on. And I had
This happened when you were 18.
Yeah, it was when I was like 18. Yeah. So that happened, and then that led to me having to check in with that PO every week or two, because it was like a strict probation. So I had to check in all the time, and because I was checking in all the time, I pretty much managed to get in trouble all the time, because my PO was a chick, and not that has anything to do with it or whatever, but she would trip on me. Like, I don't know, she did not like me. But yeah, she would always bust me. Sooner or later, I couldn't. I was busted for graffiti, but yet, like, I would always get in trouble for other dumb shit with her, like driving or I don't know, like wearing a graffiti shirt. I don't know. They put me on something like called tagger terms, which is kind of like gang terms, but I guess a special unit or place, I don't know, for taggers. But yeah, I had to go through all that shit. It's so horrible. I hope nobody ever goes has to go through that, you know. But yeah, and through that, I kept going in and out of jail. Pretty much, once I turned 18, like I was in and out of jail all the time because of my PO. She would always violate me. So you know, shout out to all the violators out there. It sucks, man. Being on PO and then they violate you. It's dumb. Like for dumb shit. Like I don't know. I mean, obviously, like you have to be a responsible person, but fuck it, you know. Like if it happens, it happens. You get violated. Anyways, I was in and out of jail. Then one day I got a DUI when I was like 18, 19. Because I was on probation for like 3 years. But I got a DUI. And they were going to violate me with that DUI. It was like already like my 4th or 5th, I don't know, 6th violation. And I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I was like, I don't want to. I was already like kind of traumatized with my PO. I was like, nah, I don't want to see this chick no more. Like, told my lawyer, public defender, I was like, is there anything I could do for me to get off PO or whatever? And she's like, yeah, you have to do like a whole year. And I was like, damn. I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'll do it. And I think, yeah, I did the whole year. And then I got out. I was staying clean, pretty good. But then I think I was still going through the DUI stuff. And I think I didn't complete it quick enough, or I was fucking up with that too. Like, I'm a very irresponsible person.
At that time.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm bad. But yeah, so even after the year I still went back like maybe once or twice. And when I went back like that once or twice, that's when I met my coworker Bully that's now working with us. But I met him in there. He's pretty known cat, like in the tagging scene and all that. And I feel like I've never ever seen a picture of him before that point. But like I've told you, like he's known over there. And I don't know if like where we were at, I don't know if I heard whispers, maybe somebody saying like that's him or whatever. And then I think I had also heard a rumor that he was, you know, busted. And we're on the bus going to court, and I see this guy. He looks like a fucking heavy hitter over here. Fucking big brocha over here. And yeah, this guy's like all the way in the front, like, and I was like, hey, hey, I was like, hey, hey, I was like, hey, I was like, yo, my boy. I was like, I need to talk to you. I was like, are you the guy that, nah, I'm capping. Nah, if anything, low key, I was like, I told him, now I remember exactly what I said. I called him over, and then I was like, hey, bro, like, you right? I just told him that, yeah. I was like, you right or whatever? Right away, he told me what he wrote and everything. He was like, sorry, scared, homie. Is this and this. I was like, damn. I was starstruck, fool. I was like, damn, I finally met him.
You never seen what he looks like.
Nah, but people would describe him all the time because Loki, like I said, like he's the talk of the town or whatever. So that plus some of my homies I grew up with, they low-key like kind of beefed it with this fool. So like, they were always like, yeah, if you see this fool, like we're gonna catch this fool slipping. So I was always kind of like, damn, that fool's kind of like the enemy or something, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was always kind of like, well, that's not my bed though, you know? That's between the homies. And then sooner or later, those homies, like I grew up with them and everything, but we fell off. And then they fell off the tagging scene and all that. So it's almost like their opinion doesn't even count no more. But like I said, he was always respected. He's always been a respected cat, and I've always respected him. I've always seen him put in mad work everywhere and everything he's done. He's a very hard worker. And yeah, just from remembering what people would describe him as, I seen him we were on a bus, on a county bus or whatever. And yeah, I seen him and I was like, what's up? And yeah, he was like, yeah, this is me. I was like, damn. And then once we got off the bus, we were right there, like in the same. We had never met each other before this. We had never met, and once we got off, we were in a holding cell or whatever, and fucking like we weren't locked up in the same place, but we happened to transport to court that same day, miraculously, I don't know, it happened, whatever. And before that, since I had already done a bunch of jail time, like I said, like in the past I did a year, and then just before that I'd done like a bunch of not terms, but like little violation shits. All those times I learned how to tattoo in there with a staple. You'll sharpen a staple. You'll get a staple. You'll sharpen it. It's a long process, and then you have to like just try to disinfect it. Try. Yeah, you have to make your own ink. Lots of people have different ways of making ink.
How would you make your ink?
In the very beginning, I wouldn't make that shit. I would just I would buy it off people or get blessed by like people who miraculously have that shit. But usually, like the badass way, the proper good way to make some good prison ink, you get the way I would do it is I get chess pieces. They give us chest sets, and the pieces are made out of plastic. And those plastic pieces, you put them like, you cut them up or just break them down kind of ish, or sometimes you don't even have to break them. You just stack them on in a pile, put them in a cup, stack them in a pile, and you light them up. You light it on fire, and then you get what I would do is I would get a cardboard brown paper bag and put that perfectly. It has to be like a crispy brand new bag. You put it over that flame. That's the very low flame. You put it over it, and then you get toilet paper. You cover the whole bag with toilet paper, and you have water right next to you, and you're dipping your fingers in the water and sprinkling it all over the toilet paper and the bag, and you're constantly wetting the bag so it could be moist, so that the fire inside there doesn't catch the bag on fire, but like there's still oxygen creeping out through like baby pores of the bag and all that, which is somehow giving oxygen or whatever to the flame and not letting it go out, because obviously if there's no oxygen, there's no fire, right? Almost works as a steam effect. You have to constantly babysit it, like keep wetting it, and also keep through chats for the cops, that you're not gonna get caught. And it's a very long process. It takes like hours sometimes, and they do walkthroughs like every hour or so. So when they do walkthroughs, like you shit breaks. And then the scary part is like, say I'm making ink, which I have done this. I have been in this situation. If you're doing that, and say you guys do get caught, or whoever, say the cop finds the fucking bag on fire or whatever in the process of that gets caught, then they're gonna want to do a raid or whatever. So that's all bad. So basically, if you were the one doing that, it's your fault. They raided or whatever. So then it's like, you gonna get that. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why you would always shit breaks when they do walkthroughs, because I'm like, fuck, I hope we do not get caught.
Was there a time where you almost got caught?
Yeah. So one of those times I was in a place, unit or whatever, and they didn't have any ink, and I needed ink to make money. Well, no, actually, I probably actually didn't. So this time that I almost got caught or whatever, I pretty much got really fucked over, and I pretty much did it to myself. So I pretty much I'm almost like at the point where like if I ever go back or whatever, like I probably won't even tattoo. Like I'm cool because of this incident. But yeah, I was at a place. People wanted tats. They knew I tatted. They knew I did like jail style tats and all that. And then there was no ink. Ink had to be made. There was a need for it, high demand or whatever. So I was like, I know how to do this shit. Like, I got you. I'm going to make this shit, But, yeah, I got all the shit, whatever. I borrowed a lighter, usually in a domain or whatever. Usually there's like a lighter or two. I don't know how many there are, but usually people have a lighter. But they're worth a lot of money. So that gets me. That's part of the story, too. Fucking... I had to borrow the big homie's lighter to make ink to light this shit, right? Anyways, the only lighter we had in there at the moment was one of those cheap ass tweaker lighters that are fucking chafa, you know. And I'm over here lighting the fucking the chest piece on fire. Tell me why this never ever in my life pretty much has happened to me, and this would happen to me while I'm fucking busted. I'm fucking lighting this shit, and the fucking top where the flame comes out, that shit just like popped. It just exploded, and there was like a couple homies with me while I was doing that, and literally like those fools like, well, somebody snitched me out. Like as I was like pretty much on my way to like pretty much tell the big homie like, damn dog, I broke the lighter, like my bad G. Like that fool already knew. Like I was walking up to him and he's like, you're fucked. He was like, you owe me a lighter. It's $100, whatever. Like I don't think it was 100. It was like $80, but still, you know, it was a lot of money. And I was that time when that happened, I was only gonna be in there for like 2 weeks. So I was really just gonna try to tat to like make bread to like pretty much get fed or just buy different commissary or whatever, you know. Cause I don't like, I never been like, oh yeah, put money on my books or whatever, you know, like nah, if I'm there, like I'll get by on my own, you know, whatever. So it was one of those situations, like I'm like, nah, I don't need nothing, like, you know, I'm gonna get through this, you know, and then boom, that happens, you know. I'm over here trying to make something to make bread while I'm in there, and then I get fucked, and then so basically like I was making that ink to make bread, but that happened. So now I'm at a setback. Now I'm in debt, like $80 or whatever. So that whole stay, those 2 weeks, instead of me like like relaxing, not relaxing, but like instead of like kind of calmly tatting and living a good like stay while you're in, you know, in jail, instead of having like one of those chill stays where you're making bank in there and probably being like some sick ass fool in there, instead the whole time I was busting my ass like trying to pay off this debt. And yeah, I was just working my ass off. Like I feel like it was some kind of karma or some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of bad vibes or some shit.
How did you get introduced into tattooing when you got locked up?
I think it has to do kind of with money. When I was out here, I think for the longest time growing up, everyone, no one speaks about tattoo artists. At least when I was growing up, it's never been a thing like, oh, they make bank or they make money or even though it's not even about that, right? But I don't know. Like I think I've always been interested in something that kind of does make bank or something, or everyone just kind of wants to impress their parents and family and stuff, right? So yeah, I've never wanted, I guess, disappoint them, I guess. But sooner or later, I just realized, yeah, it does make feria or whatever. And jail was one of the moments I realized that. Because people that make money in there is either you're doing some kind of labor or you're selling, you know, drugs or whatever. Or you're fucking, or you're doing art. A lot of artists make a lot of money, or gambling. But for sure, a lot of artists... And that's the only thing I'm good at. I don't even know how to gamble. I don't know how to play no games. I'm not a video game person. I don't play no fucking video games. Not that I'm against that or whatever. But even like blackjack or I don't know shit. All I know is how to like kind of draw.
So let's talk about your first tattoo when you got locked up. Did you make a machine?
I think what happened was I seen somebody doing one. Or I seen somebody with a really fresh tat, and I was like, "Where'd you get that?" And they were like, "Oh, right here. Like someone did it right here." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Damn! Like, what are they doing it with?" I was like, "We got machines up here." Or, yeah, you know, like that's what you think, you got machines, but nah, there's no machines. In county, there's no machines. There's just pick work, and that's kind of what got me into hand picking. For a long time, I was very into hand poke tattoos, and I think it all started with jail. Yeah, for sure. You just got a staple in there. That's how you got, and it does not come straight. You know, like it usually comes on a book. You need to take it off the book, straighten it out. Then you have to sharpen it, and then you have to figure out how to sharpen it. Like ain't nobody know how to sharpen that shit. Like you have to, if you know, you know. But closed mouths don't get fed. I asked questions and they got answered. I asked anybody I could or whatever, the big homies, the cellies, whatever, like, hey, anybody here know how to sharpen a needle? Anybody know how to do this? Or point me in the direction of somebody who does, because I needs to learn this, like, you ain't got nothing else to do up in there. And, yeah, I was one of those guys that did that. I wasn't scared, and it's really crazy to say, but you don't got no gloves up in there or nothing, like, you're straight fucking raw dogging it. There's a lot of shit that goes on up in there, and there's no gloves,
What type of tattoos were you doing in there?
I was doing a lot of lettering in there. I've always been driven by letters, and even before I started tattooing professionally, I've always thought that I cannot draw for shit. Even if I could, it would be very simple things, or more of like Chicano style, like line work, kind of minimal tones. I never thought I was good at realism or even black and gray. Even the thought of being a tattoo artist, I was like, oh, I'll be a lettering tattoo artist for sure. But I was like, I don't know about that black and gray stuff. In the beginning, I thought all that was impossible, to be honest. I never, till like 5 or not even 5, like 6 to 10 years ago, I would never think I'd be tattooing the images I'm tattooing now. So if that helps motivate anybody, then by all means, like, it's possible. You just gotta put your work ethic to work, and not sit on your ass, not just not sleep on yourself. Most of all, just take advantage of whatever God gave you.
So after you did your 1 year and you got out, were you considering becoming a tattoo artist, or were you still thinking of maybe getting a 9 to 5?
Yeah, when I got out, I did want to be a tattoo artist, but I think I was still very stubborn and immature. And I still thought that I could just self-teach myself, and pretty much thought I knew it all still, like all young kids thinking
How old
shit.
were you at that time?
I was probably already like 19 or maybe 20, yeah. Probably like 19.
So still a kid.
Yeah, still very much a kid, yeah, 19, 20, 21, yeah, around there. But yeah, I did want to be a tattoo artist, but I kind of didn't know very much about doing apprenticeships, or I kind of did. But I think what really happened was I tried doing an apprenticeship, and I was only doing it for like a month or two, and then I quit because I was kind of weak-minded, thinking I can't do things when everybody could do whatever they want, man. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You just gotta do that shit. And back then, I think I was just kind of scared of adults, that you're living under their roof, at the time, whether it's your parents or not. Kind of just intimidated, almost feeling like that pressure, like you got to bring some money to the pad or whatever. But looking back at it, I really wish I would have just done all that sooner and not worry about any of that. That's why I always tell the little homies or my siblings or whatever, like, don't give a fuck about pretty much bringing cheddar to the pad or whatever. Like, if you can't, you can't. Or if you're young and you would choose to study something or whatever, then at least in my views, I'd rather have you be gone all day but studying something or learning a career or something than not bringing bread home and not doing shit with your life, So for sure, like, I feel like whoever wants to learn a career or something like that's gonna lead to your dream or whatever, even though you think you're not making money off of it, who gives a fuck? Don't be scared to do that shit. Like, at the end of the day, a lot of people who are living their dreams or chasing it or making it happen, a lot of the times we are working for free or whatever. We just don't let it be known or whatever. But you got to pay your dues. You got to put in work to be recognized. You gotta put yourself out there in any ways, by any means, right?
So when did you decide? All right, cool. I want to be a tattoo artist.
The first professional tattoo artist homie that I met or whatever, was my homie Reckham. Shout out Reckham CS on his IG. But he was the first homie I met that's a professional tattoo artist. We would kick it, and then right away, right off the bat, I was like, hey, I've already been kind of like on this tattoo journey, kind of been trying to teach myself, but it's not getting nowhere. And I think right before I met him, I was already asking around, like, can I do an apprenticeship? Hey, like, I want to learn. Pretty much, honestly, not even saying the proper things. I feel like I wasn't raised. I don't know. I don't know a lot of like proper vocabs a couple years ago, and fucking I don't know. I was probably being very rude or disrespecting people, or just not coming at you properly, right? And I would always get turned down whenever I would try to ask for an apprenticeship. So when I met this fool, I was like, "What's up? Like, I like you, you like me, like, hey, we get along, G. Hey, you're a tattoo artist. I'm trying to be a tattoo artist." I was like, let me come around, and yeah, he did. Thankfully, he was like, yeah, pretty much put me to the test, told me to come around, then put in a good word for me at the shop. Pretty much said, this is the little homie, let's bring him in. He's gonna be an apprentice, and then right away I fucked that all up, Like I said, I only lasted like a month or two, and then I felt that pressure at home. And I was like, nah, I can't be here. And so I fucked that off, blew it off. And at the time back then when I blew it off, when I started that apprenticeship, there was like 2 other fools that started it too. So it was going to be like 3 of us. So like I said, I blew it off, stopped. And then I took like a break from the apprenticeship for like a year or 2. And then in that year or 2, those fools ended up graduating or finishing their apprenticeship. And I seen it all, you see it all. And I was like, damn, like, these fools finished their apprenticeship, dog. I was like, fuck, that could have been me. So it was a big slap in the face. I was like, fuck. And low-key, I wasn't doing shit. Like, I was tattooing at the house still, but I wasn't getting nowhere. I didn't know shit. I really just didn't know shit. I was super bad. And I thought I knew something. And I didn't know nothing. But yeah, they finished, and that was like a slap in the face. I think that, and then I think around the time I got my girl pregnant, so I was like, damn, like, I'm gonna be a dad. And then I was like, damn, like, the homies just graduated. I felt like a loser, and I felt like I wasn't doing shit with my life. I just felt like a loser, and that was my biggest motivation. Not wanting to be a loser, and just not wanting to disappoint anybody. And most of all, I think my mom. She's always worrying for me and all my siblings and shit. So yeah, so all that happened, and I was like, all right, for sure. Like I gotta get my my priorities straight, and I gotta become a tattoo artist. Like I was already like I was probably already like at this time I'm probably 22, and I'm like, all right, dog, like. I fucking suck at being a regular worker or whatever. I'm like, I can't do 9 to 5. I was like, I can't go back to jail. And then I was like, I'm not going to sell no drugs or whatever. I ain't going to gangbang and all that shit. I was like, fuck it. Like, let's do tattoos. Like, that's the only thing at the time. And still, I'm like, the only thing I'm into. Like, what I've told somebody in the past is like, to me, it's kind of like tagging, or it's like art, but it's permanent. And the permanent part is the more satisfying, like, cool part to me. And I'm big on something. I'm big on cool shit. I'm like really into whatever the fuck is cool. And I think tattoos are cool as fuck. So yeah, that's how I see it. To me, they're like a version of another version of like a landmark. which is like a pretty permanent tag. So no disrespect to anybody, but it's like me catching like my mark or like my piece, catching my piece on you, and bam, it's like it's on you forever unless you cover it or laser it or whatever, And I really hope, I hope and I know that a lot of my tattoos are most likely gonna outlive me, and I think that's a fucking cool thing too. That maybe even beyond this time, people will be like, yeah, Blujay did this, like that fool was tight.
You're starting to think very seriously, right? Of what you
Yeah.
want to do. What was your next step?
My next step was pretty much to go back into my apprenticeship, and me being knowledgeable of pretty much the bridges I've burnt and all that. I was like, damn, I can't ask the homie Reckham to vouch for me pretty much because he vouched for me the first time and I pretty much made him look bad. So I was like, fuck, well, I'm not gonna make you put yourself in this situation again. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna ask myself. And the shop that was all going at, the shop that was all happening at was at the time it was called Sacred Anchor Tattoo. It was owned by the homie Danny Anchor. Shout out Danny Anchor. So yeah, once I felt I was ready to go back and be serious about it, I even before that I would still constantly check in there, try to kick it, try to still be friends with everybody, and pretty much try to still be a familiar face, which is what everybody should do if they're trying to be an apprentice or whatever. Come around the tattoo shop you want to work at a lot, become a familiar face, become a friend. More importantly, just become a familiar face. So yeah, once I grew the balls and was ready, I went and asked Danny. Pretty much one day, I think I was just kicking it there, and then I was like alone with him, and I was like, "Hey, dog, like, want to talk to you? Can we talk?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "All right." Like, I was like, you know what? Like, been going through some shit, and I think I'm done going through it or whatever. And then I was like, I feel very hungry to learn, and I feel very hungry to grow and to become somebody. And more importantly, I wanted to become just like them, because I looked up to them. They're already doing it. They're already known in the industry, and they were making money. Like that's what kind of really reeled me in. I never thought they got paid kind of daily. I didn't know what tattoo artists were, but whatever. But yeah, I was like, come on, I really want to do this apprenticeship. I'm hungry. I won't disappoint you. Like, more than anything, I was trying to let them know, like, I'm not gonna disappoint you. Like, if I fuck this up, I'm not gonna even like show my face, or I won't bother asking you again. Like, and yeah, once he gave me that okay, that was a wrap. I sticked with it this time till the very end, and here we are now.
How was your apprenticeship like?
My apprenticeship was pretty chill. It was not too bad, not too much hazing. Pretty much no hazing, really.
How long was it?
It was like almost 2 years. It wasn't 2 years exactly. It was like a year and a half. I feel like I learned a lot. I got to work alongside a good amount of artists. They like people came in in the industry. Everybody knows how it is. People come and go. Met a good amount of people. Met really dope people. I'm very privileged and honored to say that a lot of people I've worked alongside, I look up to all of them to this very day. And a lot of people I've met and I'm close to, and pretty much check in on them and see them pretty often. I look up to all of them, and I think they're all dope. I think everybody's dope. I really have nothing bad to say about anybody. Yeah, the tattoo world is beautiful, and it's amazing to be a part of it. I'm very honored.
So you finished your apprenticeship, and did you stay there as an artist? Did you continue your journey at that shop?
Yes. After I finished my apprenticeship, I stayed at that shop. I had a change of owners and a change of name. I finished my apprenticeship with them. two two two. It was like a co-ownership, two separate people. One of them was named Dave James, on Instagram. He's a badass tattoo artist. And then another artist named Yessie Tattoos. Yessie, she's another badass tattoo artist. Both of them were also my mentors. Um, Pretty much, I was there for like a year or two after I apprenticed, and just trying to build clientele, trying to build a name for myself, trying to learn how to tattoo still. Because even once you're done apprenticing, you don't really know how to, like, you do know how to tattoo, but you're not like the best or whatever. I mean, some people are, but I wasn't, straight up. Like, I had a lot to learn, and I was doing all the learning there. I was honestly doing a lot of free tats, tatting up a lot of the homies, a lot of people. And then once I did feel that I was ready, I left that shop. Then I went to another shop. Then I went to another shop. And then I went to another shop. I've been to like 4 or 5 shops already. Now I'm here at the gallery. This shop is badass. I love this shop. Fucking downtown LA. Fuck.
How did you end up coming to the gallery?
The gallery, I was working at a shop in Anaheim. Pretty much every shop I've been to before here has been in Orange County. Grew up there. That's where I did the apprenticeship and all that.
And you still live in Orange County now?
Yeah, I still live in Orange County. Commute here every day. I was chilling, working where I was working at before here. Social Ink House. Shout out Social Ink House. Shout out Mellow Moods Tattoos. I think I was already kind of like getting ready to dip from there, or I was just I was kind of just like keeping my options open, and then I think I've always followed Rocky, or people kind of always known about Rocky, and then just the gallery itself. One of the other homies used to work here. His name's George 714. Shout out 714. Also used to work with him at his shop. But yeah, one day I was on IG and I seen Rocky or Julius. They posted on their story, or just a story in general just popped up, and it was like, now hiring, looking for driven artists or whatever. And no kind of no thought about it. I was like just second nature. I just replied to it. Like, I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. And I shot my shot pretty much, and I was like, "Hey, can I get some more information on this? I'm very interested." And just seeing where that was gonna go, not knowing they're gonna reply, not feeling entitled to anything or whatever, and yeah, and I got a reply, and I was like, "What?" And told me to come through to an interview, and I did, and they pretty much told me to think about it, and I pretty much thought about it. But had been thinking about it, like I wouldn't even consider the interview if I was like, nah, I wouldn't even work there. Because there's a lot of people that are like that. They're like, nah, what the fuck? I wouldn't go over there to LA. Like, you crazy, And I was like, fuck it. And even in the moment too, when I got accepted and got the okay to come here, I was telling all my homies and shit, all my peers, I was like, I'm gonna go to downtown LA. Like, I was so excited. I was fuck. It was like a dream. I was like, damn, like I can't. And then everybody was low key like, why are you gonna go there? You're crazy. Everybody thought I was crazy, and I was like, it's not that bad. Like, you guys don't even know.
So for the people that don't know, Orange County and LA is it's a long commute. How long is your commute?
The commute's like 20, 25 miles, almost 30 miles.
But considering Orange County and LA traffic, how long does it take you to get here?
It takes like about an hour. It's cool. It's cool, but it's not cool. I think long term, it's maybe not cool for sure, or I know it's not that cool. But if you're not coming here too often, it's cool. Or it just sucks like getting here, but always on the way home, it's not bad. I feel like the way home is cool, but the way to LA, getting into LA is always pretty bad. But besides that, working here is badass. The view is amazing. The vibe is amazing. Just the whole layout, the way the homie Julius has it all set up, it's badass. Shout out to homie Julius.
Shout out to Julius Cordero. So you already mentioned a little bit of how your experience has been at the gallery. I think you only been here for less than a year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been here a little less than a year. I love it here. It's fucking amazing. All the artists that work here, they're all very art driven, very hardworking, very strict work ethics. A lot of people that don't mind wasting their time at the shop because this is pretty much what they live and breathe and all that. You know, like how people say I die, live, breathe all this shit. Like this is everybody that works here. That's how they're on that tip. And most importantly, the owner Julius, he does a great example. He does a great just way of like leading by example. That's something you also learn. Like when you're busted, you gotta lead by example. Be a leader, you know. And he's a very good leader, and he just helps out a lot. He's even if I don't ask for help, he comes and he helps you, and it does not go unseen or unnoticed. I'm pretty sure maybe he feels unappreciated or something sometimes, but I think he should know that for sure. He's a badass teacher and shop owner for sure.
You're gonna be here till the end of August, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I think the commute and just some personal reasons. I just want to be closer to my family, spend more time with them. My kids are very young. I want to kind of get them embedded who their dad is, kind of, and just kind of want to gain their respect more. Honestly, want them to know that I'm there as much as I can try to be. You know, I don't want to try to make any kind of excuses, and I wouldn't want a commute to be an excuse or something. You know, like, so I don't know, something like that.
So you consider yourself to be a black and gray artist?
Yes, I do consider myself to be a black and gray artist just because I like doing anything black and gray related. I used to be very well-rounded and did not mind doing color. But nowadays, I'm not very fond of the thought of tattooing color stuff. I'd rather really just stay in my lane and just focus on what I'm kind of good at already, you know, instead of trying to kind of master multiple things. It's kind of rare somebody who could kind of get down to the T at multiple things. It's very rare. And I'd rather just try to not to, I'd really rather not try to like bite more than I can chew type of thing.
And what is your mindset now when it comes to tattooing? What's your focus?
My focus right now is to keep pushing my lettering and my black and gray. Incorporate both of them, both medias in black and gray, and just get more better at realism, more smoother, more realistic. Just create more custom original lettering pieces. I feel like I'm really good at lettering. Like, not really good, but
I've seen that you've been doing some lettering work, and that's also something that you actually do want to focus on continuing to do, right?
yeah, I fuck with lettering heavy, especially after working here. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to work here, because Rocky worked here, and then the homie Tattoo Bees, shout out Tattoo Bees, shout out Rocky. Both of them are letterheads that I look up to, and yeah, Rocky was working here. I came here because I'm like trying to peep some game off Rocky, and I did. Rocky showed me a lot. Thank you, Rocky. But yeah, so now I'm more like, damn, like, let's kill this lettering game. So now I am more onto the lettering. And yeah, uh, I think if it wasn't for Rocky or certain lettering heads, I wouldn't keep taking it as serious as I do nowadays. But Rocky, what he did, he took my fear away from freehanding. What he told me, what he was told is like, don't be a bitch, you know, like don't be scared. um, yeah, like if you want to really consider yourself a lettering artist, freehand that shit. Um, Drop that shit off from the dome, you know.
You're right. That's straight up Rocky.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, I was still stubborn about that. I would still stencil my shit, and he'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "I'm sorry, bro." Like, and sooner or later, it was like peer pressure, you know. I was like, "Fuck it, I gotta start doing it," and I did, and now I do it a lot, and now it's kind of second nature. Like, I'm still hesitant on it, but for sure, I'm not like how I used to be. And it's thanks to him, man, for sure.
What's some advice that you would give to someone that would want to become a tattoo artist?
Some advice I'd give somebody that wants to be a tattoo artist is draw a lot. Try to freehand stuff without stenciling. But before you freehand, stencil stuff, stencil images, finalize them, draw them. Whatever kind of tattoos you want to tattoo, draw them on paper. If your drawings do not look good, your tattoos will not look good. And an apprenticeship for sure. Look for some kind of mentor. Look for a shop. Go get tatted. I think it's kind of weird, if you don't, if you're not tattooed and you want to be a tattoo artist. I'm pretty sure there's people out there that are like that. I have nothing against you, but at the same time, to me, you look kind of weakish, you know. Like, no offense, but I said it. What's up? But yeah, to me, I always looked at tattoo artists like you got to be blasted. And for the longest time, I didn't want to get a face tat, but now I'm like, hey, I'm trying to look more like a tattoo artist. Trying to look a little more like my peers, a lot more like people I look up to, and a lot of people I look up to, they're heavily face tatted or whatnot, you know. And you can't hate, you can't discriminate, and this is a new generation, and yeah, tattoos rock.
I agree with you 100%. Let's talk a little bit about your equipment. What kind of machine were you using today?
Today I was using a brand new machine from Critical, the Critical wireless machine they just dropped, whatever. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a badass machine. I fuck with it. It's a 4.2 stroke. Before that, for the last 2 to 3 years, I've been using a Flux by FK Irons. The Flux, it's a 4.0 stroke. That machine is badass. I've been using it for 3 years, like I said. Fucking, I could do almost anything with that machine. And besides those machines, I have a wand liner that I started after my apprenticeship. I was gifted that machine by Yessie. And besides those machines, my other go-tos that I fuck with a lot, mostly for lining, for lettering, or for dot work, I have 2 Dan Cubans, but I really just use one. But I fuck with Dan Cubans super, like, fuck. Those machines are amazing. I have a Tim Hendricks too. Shout out Tim Hendricks. I fuck with that machine too, but it's a little heavy, or like, I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. I just don't want to set it up or whatever. But the Dan Cuban, I like it because it's super small, super lightweight. Fucking hits stupid hard. And a lot of the lines I could do with that shit, it's a lot of one-shot lines or just bold, badass lines that I really just want to desire and create. But besides that, the Critical machine and the Flux machine are fucking dope.
What made you try out the machine that you're using now?
The machine I'm using now, some of the homies that I look up to, they started using it when it came out, and I always thought it looked cool. And I always asked for their advice and their opinion on it, and they said it's a very good, dope machine, that they highly recommend it. So that I was always like, damn, I want to get that machine. For the longest time, I've been wanting this Critical machine that I currently just got, and then I've been wanting the Bishop color packer one. I've been wanting one of those. They're both 4.2, I believe, 4.2 stroke. And one of my homies, I've had the Flux forever, and I bought that a long time ago when I had Feria or whatever. I haven't had any money saved up lately to buy a new machine, but my homie bought the Critical recently, and he did not like it. And I was like, what? Like, fuck, I've been dying to get that machine. It's like the newest technology in tattooing, kind of. And he was like, you could try it. And so I did. I tried it, and I liked it. So far, I've liked it. And I was like, fuck, I like that shit. And he's like, I'll sell it to you. And I was like, fuck, I'm down. And yeah, so now I have it, and been using that this week. Just for a week I've been using it. But that shit's dope.
And earlier you were talking to No One on how, shout out to No One Tattoo, on how you were running your machine. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, I was telling No One that I run my machine high. I kind of always have. I've always ran my machines high. For me, running my machine high kind of gets rid of the choppiness. That's just in my head. I know other people would say different. This is just what I do. But yeah, I ran my shit high. The Critical machine, I was running it earlier at 8.8, basically 9 volts. And that's pretty high for like a 4.2, doing black and gray. I was doing a portrait earlier, a Jesus portrait. And but I was also telling him that my Flux, which is a 4.0 stroke, lately I've been running that machine at 9 volts to 9.5 volts. But when I first got it, I was always shading at 7, maybe 8 volts, but usually always an 8. But in the last couple months, I've been shading at 9.5. One time I caught myself at like 10 volts, but I brought that shit down. I was like, hey, whoa, chill. But yeah, I run that shit. I run that shit high, and I do try to work kind of fast. I try to move my hand quick, and I try to tattoo like I'm drawing pretty much. Try to not be on you forever, you know, because just like how the clients get tired, I get for sure way more tired because I'm right here, you know, like hunched over, breaking my back and shit.
And today, the way that you were tattooing, you mentioned that you were starting from the bottom up.
Yeah, so in like black and gray, I think for the longest time, what I learned, how I break down my black and gray is I do all of my blacks. I do all my darks first, and then I go like backwards. But I think a lot of people do this too. But what I do is I do all my blacks, then I do like my second darkest, then dark, you know, and then I go to my lightest tone. And what I was saying is a long time ago, pretty much from when I started doing black and gray till recently, I would always jump around a lot and do all my blacks, then jump around, do a lot of all my darks and mid-tones, but jump around everywhere. And now, like this past month or two, maybe 2 to 3 months, I stopped doing all that. And I think it has to do with working here too, and like seeing Julius and everybody. I just started working almost like a printer, which is what I've also grown up seeing everybody do, but my stubborn ass wouldn't do that. Or I would just like close my head, like not close my head, but like just not be open or accepting and be like, nah, I can't do that. Like I'd always be like, nah, I can't. I always try to tell myself I can't do shit, but nah, you could do shit. You just gotta do it. But yeah, lately I've been trying to just work from bottom towards up, like finishing as I go, kind of like a printer status. And I think it's kind of been leveling up my work. I feel like lately my piece has been coming out a little better, and I want to say it has to do with that process. And I think that process also like doesn't hurt the client as much. It doesn't give too much trauma to their body or whatever. They seem to kind of hang more, for sure.
And you're doing it faster, a little bit faster now, from what you're noticing.
Kind of. Not really. No, it's probably not faster, but it's definitely more satisfying, and the whole image in general just does look a little more proper. It doesn't look. What I noticed too, doing that process, like tattooing like a printer, you're less likely to half-ass stuff. I think that was I was telling you or no one that earlier. You're less likely to half-ass it, and you put more or all of the detail into the piece, and it just looks at the end of the day just more of 100% complete instead of like, oh, I need to maybe go back and do touch-ups or something. Because as you're going, you're like finishing it, you're completing it pretty much to the T, so that you don't have to go back down. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good tip to give any kind of maybe beginner tattooers. Try to tattoo like a printer. That's a pretty good tip.
Great advice. What type of cartridges were you using today?
Today I was using Devotion cartridges that I get from T-Pro. Shout out T-Pro. And Quadrant needles. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I use Quadrant needles, regular ink caps. I use a rinse cup. I use white at the end, Star Bright White. Shout out Star Bright White. I use Canaglide ink, A&D ink, no, A&D Glide, napkins, water, soap. That's pretty much it. And back team. Shout out back team.
Anyone do you want to thank on your tattoo journey?
Anybody I want to thank on my tattoo journey? There's really like a shitload of heads I would want to thank. Too many. I feel like the main important people would be maybe like Danny Anchor for opening his doors to me originally, giving me a spot to work at. I would want to thank all the shop owners that I've all the shops I've been at. I've been at Dark Heritage. I've been at Blue Label. I've been at Landmark. Been at Social Ink House. That's pretty much it. Right here, the gallery. Shout out to Gallery, Perseverance Inc. Or Perseverance Tattoo Collective. That's pretty much it. I would just pretty much mainly just shout them out, for giving me a humbling, blessing opportunity to work alongside them, work under them, just working for them and shit. It was a huge honor to work with everybody and learn, and they're all part of my journey. Like that's all part of my story.
What's the best way that people could reach you?
The best way people could reach me was just do DMs. Yeah, you could just DM me. Sometimes I have my number on my bio. I'm not sure if it's on there right now. But yeah, DM or text. DM or text. And then my assistant will get right with you.
And what do you need from the client?
To set up an appointment, you have to be very detailed in your message. Please do not message me and say, yo, how much for a tat? I will ghost you. I will leave you on red. I will straight disrespect the fuck out of you. Don't put some respect on my name. But yeah, if you can, please be like, hey, like your work. Hey, my name is so and so. Here's an image, or here's image references of what I would like to get. I would like it on this area of my body. Here are the approximate measurements. If you can, send a picture of the area of the body, and be ready to drop a deposit, obviously, to secure your date that you do choose. Also, be aware that weekends are super limited. And most likely you'll just really just get a better experience with me if you get tatted during the week, honestly. Besides that, that's pretty much it. Be descriptive. Try to be available during the week. Don't be scared to call off. And yeah, have a good time. Be open. Hey, you guys, this is Blujay, and you're watching Blasted Network. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the podcast. And you can find me on Instagram at BLUJAYARTE. Thank you guys again, and we'll be tapping in. Thank you.